back with more Angel. This is episode 7 of season 2, and I'm very excited to carry on with the show, see what's going to happen next as we get closer into the season. We're a good chunk of the way in now, kind of getting the feel for where they're going with this season. Obviously, a lot of it is to do with Darla and her schemes with the Wolfram and Hart, and I'm very, very excited to see where they take that, and if that's going to get addressed in this one or not, I don't know, because obviously the last episode was more kind of a self-contained story for the most part, but so much fun. I absolutely adored the last episode, the focus on Wesley, but still revealing a lot about who Angel was as a character, and very, very well done, and really, really fun episode. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where things are going to be taken from here and what's going to happen next. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into the next one. Damn. Not half bad. Shame she's a creep. Alright, Tom Cruise.
Someone special.
There's no one.
No.
Big mood.
No. Now we're soulmates.
Ha! Soulmates. I get it. That is funny. West Virginia. So that's 2 episodes in a row we've had Virginia in it.
Before it sets, you will have left this life.
I didn't ask for it.
That's the spirit.
You will not die.
Wow.
And they still gotta put her up, don't they? That's an expense. You telling me these lawyers haven't figured out a way to write that off?
I'm going to start digging into Wolfram and Hart's real estate acquisitions.
No, just primary holding, subsidiary as well. She wants something with a view.
Darla always loved something with you.
Well, that's nice.
We fed very recently. The blood is still hot in his veins.
You noticed that, did you? We stalked the surface to feed
Oh.
and grow our ranks.
Whose face do you want to look at for eternity?
His or mine?
I mean, yours is covered in blood at the minute.
I give it a century. Tops.
Darla.
Century and a half, actually.
Meaning dear one. So you think Wolfram and Hart went through all this trouble just to keep me distracted? Take me out of the game?
It is possible. And if that's the case, it's working.
Wouldn't be a terrible plan, but they want you evil.
Grab some sandwiches from the vending machine if you want.
It's a nice view.
Gourmet cuisine. Lindsay? Holland?
Darla, how are you?
Donkey!
Oh, he won't now, age.
No, but he'll rot. Seems a pity.
We don't want to fit into him. I could hear the ocean. And make him mine forever with a kiss.
What? Where are you going?
Hey! Oh, I like that.
Controlling idiot that comes along.
Sue, the property manager, was very helpful. She even cried.
Let's go. Perhaps it would be best if you let me contact Gunn and...
Cordelia clearly is getting better at the acting.
It wasn't my name when I was human.
Is that my name?
First time I was human, I mean.
First time I was human. I was petrified.
What am I? Did you bring back that girl whose name I can't remember? Or did you bring back something else?
Yeah, they wanted to bring back Darla, but is
The
that
other thing.
who they really brought back?
What happened to kiss me? You've been dying for it, haven't you?
I didn't know if you wanted me to.
Why should that matter?
Consent?
Do you think I ever hesitated when I wanted something?
Well, you should. Well, alright then. This is not very professional, I'm just saying. Oh,
Now do you care?
I thought she might bite him.
That's how vampires get what they want.
Now do as you're told.
Okay.
Well,
In that
at least she's having fun.
No family can live.
Hey!
What? She was a vampire, now she has a soul.
That makes sense. So why don't you go around smashing mirrors?
Because I don't have to look at myself in them. Look, she's in trouble.
That's true.
Angel.
Cordy, please, I'm talking.
I think it's important.
Hi, Darla. He can't talk right now. He'll call you when he found it. Yeah, okay.
My darling boy.
Where are you?
Better question. Where was I? I don't remember.
Like she calls him like darling boy, and like her dear boy.
There's no hell.
Obviously, like the master called her dear one.
I told him no one could understand.
Surprisingly affectionate for vampires.
Angel.
Darla.
Donkey.
Go. She's not leaving the building. I said go!
Go.
Darla. Darla.
My goodness.
I'm terminating the project. Terminating? Go home, Lindsay.
They're gonna kill her?
Some rest. And I also know what she's going through. And unlike me, maybe she won't have to go through it alone.
You're not alone.
You may be right. She may
I
be
think he was when he was first going through it.
you did.
Ah! This is where Spike killed the first Slayer. And they do the dramatic slow motion walk. I like that we're having like the same flashbacks as the last Buffy I watched, but from like different points of view.
You reek of vermin. Is that what you've been living off of?
Come on, Aaron. This should be nothing for you. Go ahead, Darla. Make sure you
Living in the sewers like when he mocked the master.
I can do anything.
Well. It's interesting to like see her go back to her like that. It's like he's always longing for her, really, because even in present day he's still doing this kind of shit.
I was trying to call you. They're gonna kill her. You gotta stop it. Right? She needs
Saved you a phone bill. You're welcome. Should have given him the finger with his fake hand. That would have been funny. Just gonna let him go. Oh! Ah!
Congratulations. I guess that makes you one of us.
Don't be so glum, mate. What you tell it?
Oh, that's cool to see who's actually like suffering at this point.
I smell sick.
Also, a place for service.
It's intoxicating.
Ah, it's those people who let go. That's so clever. Like, you can read that scene completely differently now. Okay, this is a lot of slow motion at this point.
Only evildoers, that's all you hunt now. You swore to me. You said if I took you back, you'd prove yourself.
I will.
How dare you not kill the innocent? Let's not do that, shall we?
I went back before dawn.
Ooh. Darla's having a rough time in this one. Jesus.
Family's been notified.
Oh. Interesting. I hope there's still a chance Lindsay breaks away from all this.
I'm jealous.
Like she's kind of like
Sorry.
that first flashback, her like lying on the bed and everything.
It's Angel.
You mind? Just give us a minute.
Do you mind actually? She used to climb on you while you were asleep.
So lucky to have someone who something you never had, is it?
It wasn't your fault.
Yeah, you weren't entirely supportive.
You'll make the pain stop, won't you?
It takes time.
I don't know if it ever stops. Might maybe like easier to bear.
Do it.
Oh.
What?
I knew what I was given. If you said you'd help me,
Oh, not that kind of help, love.
I can't bear this pounding in my chest for another instant.
It's a gift. To feel that heartbeat.
Yeah. He knows what it's like to get the heartbeat back from last season.
That you're alive.
It means pain, suffering, and disease, and death.
She's not wrong.
I released you from this world once. I gave you eternal life.
You damned me.
Whoa! I mean, that's not going to be safe for the baby. Just walk out the door.
Don't look for me again.
That went well. Okay, I love that episode. I thought it was fantastic. They really are producing some great stuff with this whole Darla arc, I think, on Angel. Angel's just... It's the show where... You normally have like the expressions where it's like, oh, this is where all the good characters come to die, or whatever like that, you know? But Angel is the show where the somewhat out of place characters come to shine, and that's definitely the case for Darla, I think, as well. He's become infinitely more interesting than she was on Buffy, because obviously she wasn't around very long on Buffy. And then last season on Angel, she appeared, but only in flashbacks, and we got her back at the end of the season, and now we're kind of really getting to know who she really was, and who she is now, even more importantly, I think. And you can't really hold it against Buffy, I suppose, because they didn't really know at that time that, you know, Angel was going to get a spin-off, and they'd have that whole connection with Darla, so, you know, I don't really hold it against Buffy the show for not, you know, using Darla to the full potential that she could have been used, I guess. But we got there in the end. And I really liked the focus on her. And the kind of... the concept of what Angel was warning her about a couple of episodes ago, about how, you know, she's going to start to feel this eventually, now that she has a soul, and she's going to, you know, go through what he went through when he became like Angel from Angelus. And I liked seeing that kind of start to tear her apart and things like that. This torture and this burden she kind of feels just from her heart beating, I think, is a very kind of tragic and interesting thing. And I like that, well, it's like, well, they've done this with Angel already, you know, we've kind of seen this story play out, but this time it's different because this is someone going through it, but with potentially the support of someone who's already been through it as well. Then so she's not going to be going through it on her own, and it could be an interesting thing, like who's going to provide support in that situation, because obviously when Angel turned and then died, came back struggling with that, the Scoobies had all that history with Angelus, and they kind of, you know, a couple of them would have that resentment towards him, and not truly forgive him for what he did when he was Angelus, particularly obviously Giles and Xander, I think, had a big issue when he came back. But I feel like maybe, you know, the Angel Investigations lot might be a bit more willing to help her if that chance does come. Obviously she like ran off and stuff, but there's still a chance that, you know, they could work it out. And I feel like they'd be a bit more willing to help, because they don't have that history with Darla. You know, they weren't terrorized by Darla when she like was evil, and especially with Cordelia, she saw the change with Angel to Angelus happen, and she saw Angel come back from that, and she knows it's possible, so maybe she'd be willing to help Darla out as well. But we've clearly seen that they all have their reservations about her and the intentions and all that, because obviously she was a bit weird, Darla, with the whole you know, angel dream thing, and the fact that she was actually there, and that whole situation would plant a seed of doubt in their mind. But it would be interesting to kind of see if Angel still commits himself further to helping Darla out, and I'm sure he will, whether or not the rest of the group will stand with him in a way that Buffy may not have gotten that support straight away in season 3 when Angel came back. So I think as this whole Darla thing unfolds, whether or not she gets turned back into a vampire, I don't think Angel would do that though, so it's probably not. I feel like he needs to just let her feel this, you know. He's not going to like make sure her soul gets taken away, even though, you know, he knows what it's like to suffer with it. And she thought it would be like his revenge to make her a vampire again. But he knows the burden that it has to be a vampire with a soul. And it's a bit different for Darla, obviously she's human again, but she has a soul, so she's still feeling the same kind of things. It's a little bit of a different experience. But with him, he knows what kind of the hell that is to live with, and the burden that is to live with. And the fact that he's still making Darla, or wants Darla to live through it as well, even though he's still suffering like all these years later, I think is a very interesting thing. So maybe he must think it's done him some good in the end, because he has a soul, so he knows that even if, you know, that torture and that pain would go away, I think Angel knows that maybe it's worth all that suffering and the hate he has for himself, because of that path for redemption he's down, and anything may be better than just being, you know, a monster, which would be Angelus. And I think he wants Darla to understand that, no matter what the consequences may be, at least for now. So I think he's going to keep dedicating himself to helping her. But I love the focus on her, Darla, obviously, throughout the episode. And the flashbacks I thought were really cool. We've got a few like new instances, but also we had those connections to the flashbacks in Fall for Love, the Buffy episode I just watched. You know, we had some scenes kind of repeated, but from different points of view, or the same scenes again, like identical. But with the added context of this episode, we saw what was going on from the opposite side, because we saw a lot of Spike's insight in those flashbacks in the Buffy episode, but now we kind of got a lot more of Angelus's and Darla's point of view from things, and Drusilla's just there enjoying life while enjoying death and life, afterlife, and deadiness. Who knows? So the fact that scene, like when, you know, Spike tells them that, well, Drusilla tells them that Spike killed the Slayer, and Angel's like, oh, congratulations, you know, you must be one of us. Completely different meaning, having seen this episode now compared to the last one as well, because we know he's been struggling, and he's actually already got his soul back at that point, which is a very interesting thing, and I wasn't expecting them to do that. So that was really, really cool, like how they changed up expectations about exactly what was going on with Angelus and Angel in those flashbacks. I really, really enjoyed that. Very, very cleverly done. It was really, really cool. And just seeing, you know, more of Spike and Drusilla and stuff in those flashbacks was really cool. We didn't get a lot more new stuff with Spike, but obviously he's busy filming Buffy, so it's not really a surprise that we didn't get a lot of new content with him. But it was still cool to kind of see them pop up anyway, and see that interaction between the four of those in the past. And brief glimpses of how they dealt with the aftermath of Angelus losing his soul, well, no, gaining his soul back. Very, very well done. I really enjoy this flashback. It's a hell of a lot how it all tied together very, very nicely. And also the idea of duality, I think, that they kind of explored with Darla. They do it with Angel as well, because there's the ongoing debate, you know, are Angel and Angelus two separate people? Are they the same? Should they be held responsible for each other's actions? That's an ongoing debate that I don't know if we really have a clear answer on. And of course they're exploring a similar kind of thing with Darla, because she's going through that same kind of experience. And the fact that we have the Darla now, and, you know, the one that calls herself Darla, and then the girl she used to be, she can't even remember what her name used to be before the Master gave her her name. And it was cool seeing the Master. I wasn't expecting to ever see him again. I mean, I wasn't expecting to see him again after season 1 of Buffy, but then obviously we had the wish. So seeing him like pop up and turn Darla, and the fact that, you know, she's called Darla because of the Master gave her that name, because it means like dear one or something. And, you know, Darla uses similar sort of language when she talks about Angel, you know, like dear boy. And if you can hear that, that's my cat running about. She's very excited. They've mentioned of Darla, clearly. Very excited, hello. But yeah, seeing that kind of constant and similar kind of uses of language between vampires I thought was interesting. It's like their weird, twisted way of showing affection. Because the whole thing with like drinking blood and turning people into vampires has like a very sexual kind of nature with the vampires in the Buffyverse. So there's that kind of way of showing affection in a twisted way. But there is like almost genuine affection there as well, with like, oh dear boy and my love, my pet, whatever. So I thought that was very interesting to see how Darla like got her name and seeing the Master there, and Angela's kind of just taking the piss out of the Master, like living in the sewers and stuff, and then, you know, years later that's what he would have to resort to, feeding on rats and stuff because he didn't want to feed on people. I really enjoyed that kind of thing as well. Jesus Christ, my cat's insane. Yeah, so that was great, and the fact that exploring like the Darla that was and the Darla is now, like which one is she gonna like, which side of the coin is she gonna fall on. And I also liked with them exploring that shot of her in, I think it's in Lindsay's office, or at least in Wolfram and Hart, I think, when she's looking out the window and you just see like, it's a shot of her, then obviously the reflection of her in the window, so it's like there's two Darlas in the same shot. I thought that was very well done. I imagine that was probably purposeful, and that fits into the kind of duality of, you know, gaining a soul back / losing one, whichever order it happens to the characters. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm excited to see where they go with this whole thing with Darla now, and, you know, is she gonna go back to Angel and accept this help and accept this method of coping that Angel wants her to go through? Is she just going to track down like the first vampire she can find in LA and say, drink up? I don't know, but I'm very, very excited to see what they do with that. And it might be interesting for Angel to like actually watch this process happen to someone, that will happen to him from like an outside perspective. I don't know if that'd be almost cathartic for him in a weird way. So that could be interesting to see them if they explore that a bit more. But I'm very, very excited for the future of the whole Darla thing. I think it's really, really cool and very engaging. And we've got a lot of that plotline already, and we're only 7 episodes into the season. So I'm very excited to see where they're going to take all of that. And yeah, the flashbacks were great. Really enjoyed that. You know, the supporting cast like Cordelia, Wesley and Gunn, they didn't have a lot to do. But they still had their moments, and, you know, I just enjoy seeing them interact with each other anyway. And I liked Gunn, you know, kind of taking the initiative in the start and kind of working out a way that they could track down, you know, Wolfram and Hart like properties and where Darla could be staying. You know, he was very much on the ball with that, so that's cool. Shows, you know, the use that he has as like potentially a permanent member of the team, so I enjoyed that. Then seeing Lindsay again and this kind of weird connection to Darla that he has, and I kind of liked it. I don't know why. It's very strange, but I like what they were doing with that, because alright, Cat. Her name's not actually Cat, but she's being loud. So I enjoyed also, it almost seems like, maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but like the parallels between like the Lindsay and Darla pairing and Darla and Angel almost, because Angel was like missing something in himself when he was like missing a soul, and that was, oh hello, and that was really what got Darla kind of, you know, interested in him, I think, eventually. And, you know, she turned him into a vampire to like take away the soul, things like that, and that kind of formed their bond. And now Lindsay's missing something as well, quite literally with his hand, and Darla seems quite drawn to him as well, because she even said a couple of episodes ago, like, you know, you're quite interesting for a human or something. My cat, what are you doing? Ugh, she really enjoyed this episode. And yeah, he seems to have this genuine affection for Darla, which I think is very interesting. We've seen that he has a heart, you know, as we saw in like Blind Date episode last season. I think he has these moments of knowing like when to do the right thing, and the fact that Wolfram and Hart isn't all that, and they're pretty nasty. And I'm kind of hoping that he breaks away from them eventually. But he's had that chance before and he just took the promotion, so I don't know if that's going to actually happen. But it's nice that they continue to explore that, and this my cat's insane. This redeemable kind of potential in Lindsay, and I hope they continue to explore that, because it'll be quite interesting to see where they go with that. Then Holland's just a snake, isn't he? A little smarm. You just want to punch him in the face, but that's just testament to how good the actor is, really. and how willing Wolfram and Hart go to like manipulate their own people. You know, the way they tricked Lindsay. So that was very, very interesting and complex as well. There's a lot of complexities going on with the different relationships and stories in this episode. But it never felt like, oh, this is too much, I don't know what's going on. Very, very well done. And I can't wait to see where we go from here and when they're going to take all these different directions in the story. Really, really good stuff. I absolutely love this episode. Season 2 is so good so far. And yeah, I can't wait to see where we go from here. What's going to happen next. I do believe my next reaction is Angel again, I think. Oh, I'm so unprepared. Let's look this up. I'm pretty sure it's Angel, but it's best to make sure before I promise anything. Yes, it is. Angel is next. Then we have a week of Buffy, and then the cycle after that. Then the cycle after that's all Angel. So yeah, my next reaction will be to episode 8 of Angel, and I can't wait to see where they're going to take all these different stories. But I love this episode. I love the focus on Darla and like the themes of duality and stuff going on with her. The comparisons to as this story goes on, comparing it to, you know, the Angela story we got in Buffy. Seeing, you know, if people can learn from mistakes of how the whole Angela's thing was handled. The flashbacks were awesome. I love that, and how they tied into the flashbacks in the previous Buffy episode. Very, very well done. I really, really loved it, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. But yeah, fantastic episode. Really, really loved it. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.